Yes, Mayor.
Good evening. I'd like to welcome everyone to this evening's regular scheduled council meeting. I'd like to welcome members of council, members of staff, those of you who are joining us tonight in the gallery, and of course, anyone joining us virtually this evening. We will begin this meeting by acknowledging that we are gathering on the land that has been inhabited by Indigenous peoples since time immemorial. We would like to recognize that we are in the Robinson Superior Treaty Territory, and the land on which we are gathered today is the traditional territory of the Anishinaabe. Specifically, we acknowledge the neighboring community of Mishpon First Nation, for whom we have great respect. We also recognize the contributions of all Indigenous people, including the Métis, in strengthening and shaping the community in the province of Ontario. Thank you, Inukwitch. I'll now call for disclosure of pecuniary interest. Hearing and seeing none, we'll move on to item number 3, approval of the agenda. 3.1, approval of the agenda. May I have someone make a motion to approve? Councillor Hoffman, seconded by Councillor Opato. All in favor? Carried. Item number 4, adoption of minutes. 4.1, committee of the whole meeting, Tuesday, October 21st, 2005. May I have somebody make a motion to approve as presented? Councillor Kenny, seconded by Councillor Opato. All in favor? Carried. We'll now move on to new business. Item number 5.1, AP memo, stop the spray signage. Mr. Patterson, the floor is yours. Thank you very much, Alex. Can I? Thank you very much, Daniel. This is direction. Thank you.
Okay. Should be good now. Yeah, I see it there. Yep.
Perfect.
Yeah, I can hear it now. Thank
Awesome.
you.
Okay. Thanks, Daniel.
So before I open it up to council for questions, one clarification I would like to make. In the report, it says that the request was received from a member of Missinaba Cree, which is absolutely factual, but the member is a resident of the municipality of Wawa. So I just wanted to make that clarification. So as always, I will start with Councillor Hoffman. If you have any questions or comments regarding the information received.
No, right now.
Okay. Councillor Pyle?
I don't either.
Councillor Cannon?
Not at this time, just when we get to the resolutions.
Councillor Hatfield?
The only thing, like, how long have we been doing spraying in Ontario? What's the M&R say about this?
The ministry, I believe, is responsible for the spraying program.
Yeah,
So they, I would say on their behalf that they're likely in support of it.
but you haven't heard that from them, so you can't say that.
No, I can't say directly, sorry. And as for how long they've been spraying in Ontario, I have no idea, sorry.
So, I had a few questions. I know that this is a very hot topic in Ontario right now. The planned aerial herbicide spray across many parts of northern Ontario have been halted due to public outcry. The Stop the Spray campaign is not something that has just been in northern Ontario. It's Ontario-wide, and it's actually been found in a number of provinces. So Stop the Spray in BC, Stop the Spray in Quebec, and all across the Maritimes. And there's been lots of literature around whether or not it contributes, the spray contributes to increased forest fires. And I had a great conversation with the gentleman, Brad Nolan, who submitted this request. And the concern from Missinaba Cree and other Indigenous communities is that it actually kills a lot of the medicinal Indigenous medicines. But I think council might have a lot of questions, and maybe this is something that municipalities, I know, are passing supportive resolutions for this, and I see Maury shaking her head, and I don't expect you to know this question, but I wonder if we can find out how many other municipalities are supporting resolutions like this, because I know that it is the question that's being asked around many council tables. It's a conversation that's being had at Roma, at NOMA and Phenom, and because people are concerned about the spray. So it's definitely a hot topic, and the public is concerned. I've certainly had calls.
I have a question.
Councillor
Since you
Hoffman?
seem to know, what are they spraying, or where are they spraying this? All over?
Yeah, so it's an aerial herbicide that's spread on crown forests. And the idea is to, I don't know a lot about it, so, but protesters are raising it to alter also to cultural and spiritual ties. So it's, people are talking about it, people are very, very concerned about it. And
So it's not a power line spray?
it's not a power line spray, it's on all crown land. And I know that I've had conversations with other municipalities about it, and it's really being supported by forest companies. Because the idea is to, to get trees to grow faster and taller and stronger, but at the detriment of kind of all of blueberries, all of the other plants, all of the other animals that are living in the forest, so people are concerned about it.
So I can help with that. When I did some research, the Stop the Spray website had listed resolutions from all the other communities, which is where some of the verbiage from ours came from. So they had 18 listed on their website. Some of the ones that we might recognize is Black River Matheson, Smooth Rock Falls, Rideau Lakes, North Grenville, which is near where I'm from. Iroquois Falls, so some northern municipalities as well. Council of Spanish, Kirkland Lake, Nipissing, and we would be the highlights of those 18.
And I can confirm that this topic is on the agenda for the Northeast Superior Mayor's Group to discuss. So this is the first time that it's kind of coming to our council table in our region, but would be 6 others. And as I said, the planned aerial spraying has been canceled for the North Shore, which is in between Sudbury and Sault Ste. Marie. So all of those municipalities along Highway 17 have been canceled for there because they have had a joint municipal Indigenous
I have a question,
advocacy.
Mayor
So,
Pilon.
Councillor
I
Hatfield?
would like to know why the M&R is doing this. They've been doing it for years, so don't you think we should hear from them too? Explaining why they do the spray? I think we should. I mean, I can't vote on something I hear one side say this and the other side say that. I'd like to hear more about what the M&R, why they do it.
So I think what we can do and what our normal practice is, Councillor Hatfield, we can direct staff to do a report to council on kind of to investigate what is happening in the province and to really investigate it a little bit further and bring back a more fulsome report and recommendation on whether or not we should pass a resolution supporting the Stop the Spray campaign, sorry. If council is in agreement with that.
Just one,
Councillor Hoffman?
when Councillor Hatfield says about the spraying, I think this must be something new that they're spraying, because they haven't been spraying this already for years.
As far as I understand, yes, it is, but that information would come out in a report. Councillor Cannon, do you have something to add?
Yes, Mayor. You don't have, like, Chaplow's not on that, Duberville's not on that. So I wonder why Chaplow, which is a forest industry, has not jumped on this also about the spraying. And I know I could get somebody in to explain it from Miss Nabby Forest. I can get somebody in to explain it if that's possible, Maury, to come in and talk about it and find out why all the communities in the north here are not jumping on this bandwagon.
So as I noted, it is going to be discussed at the mayor's group level. And the mayor's group will likely issue, as we have in the past, a communique or a resolution on whether or not we support the Stop the Spray campaign. What we have done in the past was issue something at the mayor's group level and then encourage communities to pass their own resolutions.
Yeah.
So that we've done that in the past, but
So if I may, would council's direction be for staff to arrange perhaps a presentation by a staff member from the local ministry or a forestry representative for information, or is council looking for an informational report?
Well, the M&R has a biologist and like they have everybody there. Maybe there's a good reason why they're doing it, or maybe they're going to be happy to say to us, go ahead. But I can't make a decision on just one side.
I think I think we should leave the direction open
I think this is I think once we learn a little bit more about it, I think the direction from council should be to investigate it and come back to us with a fulsome report and a delegation, kind of what's going on. But I encourage council to do their own research into the matter, investigate the Stop the Spray campaign, talk to people. I think it's very valuable to do your own research on these issues, talk to people in the community. I think that's good.
And I'll note, excuse me, sorry. I'll note there is a resolution of support on the regular meeting tonight. Council certainly has some options. They can vote in favor or against, or they can defer to the next meeting. So there will be some options for council once this is read at the regular meeting.
I think hearing council tonight, I think we will likely table it to a future meeting. I think we will also table the signage request to a future meeting as well. Is there any objections from council?
No. I would rather table it for now until we,
So if there's no other comments or questions on that issue, we will move on to item 5.2, the CAO report 13-2025, request for lease at airport, proposed battery storage project. Maury, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Mayor, and this is a report to council in response to the delegation you heard at the last meeting from a company who's interested in municipal land next and close to our airport. This report is in response to two items, really the request for a lease agreement for that property and then a request for a mandatory resolution of support. There is a resolution of support that the Independent Electrical Safety Association is required when a proponent is going to make and join the RFP process to make an application for whether it be a solar, wind, or electrical storage, battery storage project. So this report recommendations are to enter into a 5-year lease agreement, and I made sure a copy of the lease agreement was attached for council with the company for a 5-year renewable periods if the project doesn't proceed within the 5 years. So if the government, the IESO, body doesn't approve for this proponent to move forward, then the lease will end because there will be no development on the land. But otherwise, there are no other termination clauses because once we make a commitment to lease and the company starts investing hundreds of thousands of dollars and going through the government process, there has to be a clear commitment that this council supports the project. So a bylaw to enter into a lease agreement will be placed on the November 18th regular meeting if council agrees. The second recommendation is that council pass a supporting resolution outlining municipal support of the project at the November 18th meeting as well. And again, this is required by the developer to submit a proposal to the IESO for the procurement process that's going on within the province, looking for new electrical generation and storage projects. So in summary, we heard from the proponent that they're interested in a 3-acre parcel next to the Wawa Airport for a battery energy storage system. It's approximately 40 megawatts, approximately 40 containers for these battery projects. I attached for council the map outlining the exact location and legal description and some briefing information that the company shared that has a Q&A around if you have questions and answers about the lease. It explains the technology that's moving forward, how a facility would operate, and those community impacts of a municipality accepting the project. There are other proponents, I would add, as I may have shared with council previously, that will be coming forward. We will have another energy developer come to council and do a presentation on November 18th for similar type of resolution of support. Resolution of support is required by municipal council if a project's being proposed to be in a municipality, but we have to go the extra step with this proponent because it is on municipal land. It is a modular installation. It includes battery units, transformers, switch gears. It will have secured fencing. It'll take about 3 acres in size, and it operates very quietly, and it connects to the existing electrical infrastructure that's located in the area. The lease terms, very briefly and at high level, 3 acres, rent is $30,000 per year paid to the municipality. It's adjusted annually by the cost of living index. The duration is upfront for 21 years with 5-year renewal terms. Payments paid to the municipality semi-annually. The development period includes pre-construction access, and the restoration obligation for the proponent includes things such as they must remediate the site to its original condition once the project is removed, and of course they are responsible to remove it. The lease can't be more than 21 years on a technicality, and that's a technicality under the Ontario Provincial Planning Act. Once it passes over 21 years, then it becomes a different process to municipality. So at this time, they're looking at the 21-year horizon with the thoughts that that would be extended because the life expectancy of a project like this they have a lifespan of about 30 to 40 years. Other details are in the FAQ in terms of staff reviewing it against our planning documents, our zoning bylaw, our site plan agreements, and all the policies of the municipality about how lands will be developed. We confirm, which is part of the process, that it's not in any designated agricultural lands. The province is making sure that these projects don't go on prime agricultural lands. That's not the case here. And as a screening by staff, there are no identified environmental constraints, and the facility will be screened by fencing or vegetation to ensure there's no visual, negative visual impact to people passing by or people in the area. As an economic municipal benefit, the annual lease revenue, of course, is a huge benefit to the municipality. With that also comes the increase in tax assessment. You can imagine a 3-acre project is going to result in some additional good assessment for the municipality that translates into property taxes. They're not asking for the municipality for any investment, no capital investment, no money, no contribution of any kind. Of course, there'll be economic benefits during construction operation, which the proponent shared with council during the presentation a couple weeks ago. You know, on a larger scale, this is supporting the province's goal of finding new forms of electricity and new ways to make sure that we're finding some alternatives to building very, very large and expensive electrical projects. And this project, as was explained, basically takes electricity off the grid during the low use times, the evening, late evening times, and then puts it back when the demand is higher. So it supports the goal of the province's energy plan to put in 7,000 types of these battery projects throughout the province. It enhances the grid reliability. These projects do reduce greenhouse gas emissions, so there's an environmental benefit to it. The proponent did submit what is required to the municipality under the RFP process, and that is just a notice of pre-engagement. He attended last council's meeting. Other consultations will take place. Once the province agrees that a project like this moves forward, there is a whole set of rules and regulations and consultations required, which would include, of course, this particular site. They will need to get NAV Canada permission. They will need to work with MTO to get an entrance permit on their highway. Work with the local distribution company. You have to get permission to connect to the grid. So there's a whole set of other consultations that have to take place and permission. Include the municipalities. Just because we pass a resolution of support, when the time comes and the project goes through, they still have to apply for a building permit. They still have to apply for a site plan control agreement. So the municipality retains control and sets out in a bylaw passed by council how the development will look and all the features of the of the site, so there are a lot of steps still to go. This is the initial applicant applying to get into the RFP process to hopefully be considered for a project moving forward. And if a project in Wawa moves forward, there's a lot of other regulations to go through. I think, in summary, I did attach a lot of information for council, some backup information that council hopefully had opportunity to read. This is being introduced for discussion, and certainly it is our recommendation as a staff that we consider entering into a lease agreement and approve the resolution of support for this particular project, and likely for all projects to come forward. But for this project, we submit to council the report.
Excellent, thank you very much, Maury. Councillor Hoffman, do you have any questions or comments?
Everything I've read, I'm in favor of it.
Thank you very much. Councillor Pettit?
I'm also in favor. We need to see it start.
Thank you. Councillor Cannon?
I just like Kevin's opinion on what this does to, if anything happens. I know that they told us all that, it's safe, it's this, it's that, but we're surrounded by bush, forest fires. What does that do to our fire department if that ever happens, God forbid? What does that do for you? Are you trained to deal with these batteries?
Not at this time, we're not trained to this. If this becomes an actual storage area that's going to be part of the community, then we'll make sure that the training is available for the firefighters. We do have forest firefighter training already, and we have an agreement with the MNRs, so it wouldn't take long for us to be able to attack and control the fire if it does happen. Based on the information that I've seen, these are very safe compartments. They have additional fire suppression systems in them, so it's highly unlikely that anything should happen, but there is that possibility.
So we're going to pass a resolution letting them go forward when our firefighters aren't even trained for a unit like this.
So,
That makes me nervous.
okay, I understand that. So, this isn't a foregone conclusion that they're gonna have these units in Wawa. They have to apply for that. So once that application goes in and we find out that they are going to get it, then we will definitely get on the training right away, so that the training is done when these things are constructed.
It's like putting the cart before the horse. I don't know if I agree with letting them go forward until our firefighters are fully trained, because that's gonna cost money. So where does that money come from? There's a lot of variables. It's not that I'm against a project going forward. I just want to take a step back and make sure we're prepared as a community.
Thank you very much for the question, and I'll ask Maury to just provide her comment, because I'm sure that you're able to provide some comments.
Thank you, Mayor, and I appreciate the question, and from what we know, it takes approximately 5 years for these to be constructed to the point that they're ready. That's why the first initial 5 years of lease is considered pre-development. They aren't built overnight, so I think and believe that would provide sufficient time for our fire department to get trained. As the proponent said to municipal council, and we haven't taken this step yet, I think you heard him say we're open to community benefit agreements, and we're open to making sure this kind of project does eventually result in community benefits, which may include us writing to the proponent. If you are approved, or when they're approved, approaching them for some contribution to the fire department for training. But, just my initial thought would be, we are going to be receiving $30,000 in additional revenue plus tax revenue. Some of that revenue can be set aside in the first and early years to ensure our department is trained. These projects aren't guaranteed, and I think that there's not much time that we can wait, because as the proponent shared and as is written on the provincial ISO website, proponents have to get in their proposals by December 18th, and then the window closes. And we can't say that they'll open again. So staff does have some time if there's additional information required to bring that back to council on the 18th. For council to consider a resolution of support, whether it be on November 18th or if council requires more information. The latest would be December 15th, but that's really cutting it close, but council could call a special meeting. So that's really all I can add. We believe that there will be ways to fund the additional training, and the training of our department will take place if projects like this move forward. It does appear from provincial government policy and budgets, they're moving forward. So the question is more, we're in or we're out. Because if you're gonna say no to this one, you're gonna say no to the next one coming likely. And so this community will just be saying that we're not interested maybe in these battery projects, which again, I make no comment, good or bad, but just want to caution, there's not a lot of time for municipal council to show support or not support for this.
Thank you, Maureen.
Thank you.
Councillor Hatfield?
Yeah, Maury, did you say NAV Canada already approved this?
No, I said if a project is moving forward, the proponent will have to get permissions from NAV Canada and a number of agencies.
Okay.
So I think I'm really excited about a project like this for a number of reasons. First of all, I think it gives Wawa an opportunity to once again showcase we're open for business. I really can't recall when the last time we've had so much outside investment in Wawa in the past, handful of years. And this is really exciting to me. I think by council showing our support by passing a resolution, this is the first step. And they've got a number of other resolutions, as you mentioned, NAVCAN, and there's, over the next couple of years, these projects will have to go through a number of approvals, which will allow the municipality to have our firefighters get training, develop site plans, and make us, comfortable with the project. We have heard from our residents through the Quest project that the EDACT held through the public engagement, that our residents are really looking for us to get involved in renewable energy projects. They're looking for us to attract businesses that are involved, and it is our primary goal to increase tax assessment as our revenues go down and our costs increase. I think we owe it certainly to our business community, but certainly to all of our residents who are struggling with costs. So I think I'm really excited that, Wawa is very well positioned at the junction between the east-west tie and the Porcupine transmission line to attract these types of projects. So this is the first of, I hope, many projects that renewable energy projects that will come to Wawa. It is my fear that if we do say no to a project like this, it's going to be a very loud message. We may as well get out our megaphone and say to the province, we're not open for business, we're closing our shutters. And I think we have to think about what message we would be sending if we did not support a resolution like this. So I think there's lots of things to consider, but I thank the staff for putting together such a really important recommendation. And I will talk in my next, in my mayor's report about the groundbreaking ceremony that I attended last week, that they really did talk about how they're going to be positioned to support these types of businesses and how that will create full-time employment and how it will support local businesses, local contractors, local electricians and tradespeople. So when I see something like this come across our table, I'm excited for the future. So, Councillor Cannon?
I'm not against this project. I'm just looking, the taxpayers should not have to pay to train our firemen for something like this. I would like it put in there that, that they supply some money to train our firefighters in case of an emergency out at the airport. That's all I'm saying. And like I said, the taxpayers should not have to fund training our firefighters for something that is coming to Wawa and everybody wants it in. I agree. You want to be open for business. I agree with that, but at what cost to our taxpayers?
Thank you. So I believe that we are all supportive of the resolution. I think that's all we're looking to do tonight is pass a resolution. I believe that things like dollars for training can be negotiated at later on. That's not part of the lease. And it is something that this proponent did say that they're absolutely looking and supportive of doing. Councillor Hoffman?
Kevin, do you have an idea how much it would cost to train the firefighters to take care of a fire there?
No, I don't, not at this time. I'd have to research it.
Like, is it serious, or would you do like at an airport fire and take a spray?
Yeah, it's the techniques that you use to put out a fire like this and how, and what procedures you would need to use, right? That you just can't go rushing into the fire. So the training is, do we start out at, we'll say 50 feet or 100 feet and then move in slowly? Do you need 1 or 2 lines? Do you need foam? There's all kinds of different scenarios that could be used. Most training is probably $5,000 to $10,000 overall for the whole
Department?
Yeah, roughly.
Okay, so there's no other additional questions or comments. We will see a resolution on
November 18th.
November 18th. And council will have the opportunity to vote at that time. But it sounds like we are all in agreement that we're supportive of this. So we will now move on to item 5.3, HR Memo 2025 External Audit Services. Maureen, the floor is yours.
On behalf of Heather, Heather provided a memo to council about council's permission to continue our auditing service agreement with KPMG. We have an agreement with our auditors that ends shortly, and we'd like to extend it for a further 2 years. The municipality must appoint an auditor under the Public Accounting Act, and they have provided excellent services. Normally, we would go out to tender or request for proposals, but with a number of changes to the accounting regulations, a number of things that have happened with our audit, our asset management plan, the knowledge that our auditor has very intricately with our financial systems, our way we operate. We think that they provide great value for the services they provide. And although we intend to tender out these services in the future, the fact that we have a new treasurer that's still in a mentoring phase, it would be a best use of our time and resources to keep with our existing auditor rather than go out and potentially recommend to council another firm. So we would ask that given our experience with KPMG, that we have council appoint KPMG as the external auditors for another 2 years, and we put the tender then out in 2027.
Thank you very much, Maureen. Councillor Hoffman, do you have any questions, comments?
No question.
No questions.
Councillor Cannon?
I'm okay with the recommendation of appointing KPMG.
Councillor Hatfield? I'm also aligned. With that, we will move on to item 5.4, Mayor's Report on Healthy Democracy Conference and other updates. So as recommended, I wanted to provide a written report on my attendance to the Healthy Democracy Conference and other updates. So I was very, very honored and excited to participate in a panel discussion titled Political Experience, alongside the Mayor of Burlington, the Mayor of Timmins, and the Executive Director of the Ontario Public School Board Association, Stephanie Donaldson. As a member or director on the Healthy Democracy Forum, I'm a passionate supporter of this project. And as we are ramping up for the next municipal election, this group is really working hard to really bring a lot of to highlight incivility and harassment that many councillors and municipal elected officials face as we do our work in our communities, and really looking to attract qualified and passionate people to put their names on the ballot. Certainly looking to attract diverse candidates, female candidates to put their name on the ballots. And so I was really happy to participate in this. And the Mayor of Burlington, Marianne Mead Ward, she promoted her initiative Elect Respect, and I do have a resolution on here tonight that I would really appreciate us passing. We're encouraging all communities to join the growing movement of leaders to certainly take the pledge, but adopt the resolution, showing citizens that all of our communities are committed to respectful conversation, increasing debate, political discussions on ideas and politics, as opposed to, dirty politics. We want people to understand how important it is to be engaged in municipal politics, but to do it to be respectful. Municipal politics isn't glamorous, it isn't sexy, but it's needed. And sometimes people don't get their way, but there's a reason why things are done the way they are. Democracy is so fragile right now. And but we need to stand up for healthy democracy more than ever. So we'll see that on the agenda. And they also have a pledge on the Elect Respect website. I have signed the pledge, and I encourage everybody else to do the same. I also wanted to provide an update on the East West High Operations Facility groundbreaking ceremony. So Maury, Kevin, and myself attended alongside many local contractors and some folks from Next Era. So this is a really exciting project. It did come to council. We did approve it, but it was, it's gonna be exciting. A building is gonna go up, people are gonna see it, and it is gonna provide new tax assessment and potentially new jobs for our community, and that's exciting. And to have the opportunity to be there, to build relationships is really exciting. And like I said before, WA was really well positioned right at the junction of those two transmission lines. So hopefully we can attract new renewable energy projects. Roma delegations. We're getting ready for Roma. That's happening in January. Councillor Pato and Maury and I will be attending. There's 5 different topics I wanted to bring to council's attention. Minister of the Solicitor General, we will be putting a delegation in for that to discuss the status of the OPP detachment and ongoing challenges in the region. We are very, very close to having the property sold. We will be, that's kind of our next thing, but and we believe this delegation will be regional, supported by the Township of Dubreuilville and Township of White River, because they also have a vested interest in the Superior East OPP. Of course, MTO, we want to follow up on the Highway 17 infrastructure investments and maintenance. And of course, show them our socioeconomic impact study that the mayor's group solicited from Good Roads. The Ministry of Northern Economic Development and Growth, this is a new delegation that we're looking to, that we will be requesting with Minister Peary. And that was really to address the barriers around housing enabling infrastructure. So again, we really need to have that funding application approved so we can start building housing, or we won't be building housing, but so we can start attracting a developer once we get some infrastructure into the ground. With regards to our Power Dam grant, we are going to, Maureen and I decided after very careful consideration, we decided not to submit a delegation request. Rather, we've opted to write directly to the minister and outline our concerns and propose solutions. This is a more focused, strategic approach, as opposed to going back and having a delegation with staff people. The Ministry of Health, we are working collaboratively with the Ontario Medical Association, and we hope to have a roundtable in the new year with industry partners, regional representatives, and local healthcare. So that resulted in Councillor Rapato and I, we had a delegation in August at AMO. So that's kind of the Coles notes on our delegations. Tourism, I'll just go through all of this quick, and then there's recommendations that fall out of these updates. Councillor Rapato and I attended the Chapleau Drag Races, where we met with several Wawa residents. There was a lot, I would say probably 50 plus. I'm looking at Councillor Rapato to see if he agrees with that, probably.
Yes, there was lots there.
There was lots. And they really expressed a lot of interest around bringing them back, the drag races back to Wawa. So we've since had multiple conversations with Alex and Maury about how best to do that, or best to at least investigate how we could do that. So I do have a recommendation at the end of the report. And then connectivity, as everybody knows, I've been working very actively with multiple partners interested in coming and supporting the municipality to increase our connectivity. We've got a couple of different partners interested in supporting this. So Muskoka Wi-Fi will be here on November 18th to talk to us, as well as a company called Boreal Telecom. So hopefully we will see improvements in this area in the future. So all that to say, I do have a few recommendations and follow up for council. So once again, I'm going to encourage all members to take the Elect Respect Pledge and adopt and pass the Elect Respect Resolution. So that's fairly easy, but so important. We're leaders in the community, and I think we need to emulate that respectful democracy is important. That council directs staff this evening to prepare a report outlining the potential benefits of the municipality supporting a community-led drag racing event. So the municipality can support, but very much like the Ice Fishing Derby or the Wawa Music Festival, the community would lead it, but looking to Alex and Maury, of course, to do a report for us and really outline what that would look like. Identify the associated risks, liabilities, including strategies to encourage community engagement, including a call for volunteers. So I think that would, I'm really excited for what that would look like, because that would certainly support tourism in Wawa, which is super important. And then third, certainly looking for comment suggestions on our Roma delegations. Roma delegations have to be submitted by November 18th. So the deadline is basically tomorrow, and we're working really hard on getting that done. So Councillor Hoffman, I'll
Well, on your elector respect, I like that, and I hear there's already a petition out, federally or provincially, that they want, so our federal politicians talk without swearing at one another. And I think the same goes for, because I hear some of municipal politicians are just as bad as the federals. So no, I like the idea of signing that. And then I take it that all the little flags out at the Blueberry Field were the foundations for the new building for the east-west.
Yes.
Yes.
And what else was there? Okay. Oh, Muskoka Wi-Fi. That's not a replacement for Rogers Shaw?
It wouldn't be a replacement. If they decided to come, it would just be another option.
Okay,
If they decided to come.
okay. I'm good.
Okay. Councillor Paddle?
I agree with Jim, like signing the petition and stuff, it's good. It's all out there, we need it. And it is exciting about what's going on with the Blueberry Farm and stuff, but see something progressing.
Anything about Chapel drag races?
I didn't enjoy it at all. I'm looking forward that we do support it and hopefully there's a lot of interest. Because it was fun when I was here.
Cool. Councillor Cannon?
I agree. I would love to see the drag races back in Wawa. I mean, I know it's a lot of work, as Alex could tell us, but the community, I mean, they run a ice fishing derby, they run the music festival. I don't see any problem with them getting a group together to run a Wawa drag races. And for the Muskoka Wi-Fi, I'd like to see also, like Timmins, for example, just got a new station, a building, and it's called Telsat, and it's a Canadian-based satellite internet. I would like to see something like that company come and do, because they're Canadian-based, and Timmins is gonna have the first site. I would like to see a company like that come and do a presentation also at council. And for the, about the what is it called? Respect, sorry. I agree wholeheartedly. I don't mind signing a resolution for that. I think that politicians get out of hand sometimes and they say things that you shouldn't be saying. I mean, you should not be rude, and it's not about the attacks, it's about what you're going to do for your community, or what you're gonna do for Ontario, or what you're gonna do for Canada. It's not pointing fingers at another person.
Thank you very much, Councillor Cannon. Councillor Hatfield?
The only problem I have with everything is we don't let the town know enough of what we do. We really don't. And there's so many things that happen, and I think, oh, didn't you hear about that? That's something we really have to work on. If you guys want all this stuff, you have to reach the community much better.
Thank you. Do you have any comments about the drag races?
Oh, I love them. I went to them all the time, but I won't work at one.
Thank you. Awesome. Okay, well, thank you very much. So I do hear, if I could just summarize, follow up in next steps. We will go through the elect respect resolution, and council direct staff to prepare a report on the drag races, including to put a call out for volunteers, which is very exciting. Okay, we will move on. Thank you very much for indulging me, council. We will move on to item 5.5, municipal accommodation tax, third-party entity. Alex, the floor is yours.
Oh, I'm gonna take that back. That's you want to see.
Maureen, sorry.
Well, it's pronged, so we'll both share in making this presentation, and I feel like it's a long report, but it's such an important report that I'll highlight the key components to what is attached as a draft financial accountability and services agreement between the municipality Wawa and Superior East Community Futures. This report recommends that council approve the attached agreement, recognizing that a resolution to accept the agreement would go to the November 18th meeting. That leaves us with still lots of time and opportunity over the next 2 weeks for continued input from the partners that have been involved to date and for community members. But essentially, working with Superior East, we've developed this agreement. And it's referred to as a financial accountability agreement because that's what the legislation sets out as council's responsibility to ensure the monies collected under the MAT are spent for the purposes set out in legislation. So the proposal is that council look at considering an agreement bylaw at its meeting November 18th. As council knows, there's a lot of background to this municipal accommodation tax. That the legislation says that 50% less administration fees will be given to a third-party entity. After input with the accommodation operators, particularly represented by Ray Valiant of the Outdoorsman and Sandra Wetzel representing the short-term accommodations, we have had meetings that come together as a group and talked about the agreement, and we will definitely reach out to them one more time before it's passed, but this report and the agreement has been shared with both parties. The agreement makes sure that we are all on board and aligned with how those third-party funds are used for the purpose set out in legislation, but also for the best benefit for this community. So the accountability agreement before you has some key components. Number one, 50% would be sent to Superior East Community Futures, who has agreed to operate and does meet the legislative requirements to be a third-party entity. They'd be sent or within 45 days after they're collected. So they'll be sent and remitted to Superior East basically every 3 months. This would also include, because when we collect the money, as we have been since May, it's in a separate segregated reserve specifically for this purpose, and it is earning interest. So the agreement says if these 50% of the funds earn interest, that interest as well would be shared with Superior East. It is an agreement at this time that we are suggesting run for 3 years, which can be automatically renewed, subject to both parties agreeing in writing. But the 3 years is to get us through the initial startup. I mean, it's out there that it takes normally 3 years for a corporation or a committee to actually get up and running and get their policies and procedures and get into action, and seeing that a year from now there is a municipal election doesn't make sense to have this committee only operate for a year. So we're proposing 3 years for the startup. The committee makeup, the recommendation at this time is that there be a minimum of members, and those members include 2 members of the hotel sector remitting the MAT and who are in good standing. 1 member of the short-term accommodation sector who has an approved short-term business license and who is in good standing. 1 member of the community of Wawa who operates a tourism business or can demonstrate they have some experience and skills relating to tourism business. And why it's worded that way, it could be someone retired. We had a great conversation with the group about not wanting to restrict it just to somebody operating a business, but to somebody in the community that has the background in tourism. And then 1 member of Wawa staff or municipal council or designate as approved by Wawa Council. This would be the minimum, and because this committee will be directly reporting to Superior East, there will be terms of reference in the discussion once the committee's formed. They may want to add another member, and that member might be a member of Superior East, because ultimately this committee will report to that organization. They won't be under the direct authority and responsibility of the municipality. So those decisions on how that committee will ultimately look will be decided by the committee in Superior East, but at a minimum, as set out in our agreement, this would be the minimum that council would expect. There's going to be, and there's set out an agreement that within 90 days at the end of the year that there be reporting to the municipality, reporting on how the money was spent, reporting on what the return on the investment was, what projects and what were the outcomes of some of the projects. So every year there'll be a report of expenditures and initiatives and key performance indicators reported to council, and we all agreed 90 days, 3 months after the end of year would give the organization time to do. Superior East has reviewed, the staff have reviewed the agreement, and they are in favor of forwarding it to their board. Their next board meeting is December 5th. I can say a few words more about what is in the agreement. I think that I would say in terms of committee composition, we are recommending at this time, because it is the first initial startup of the committee, that we do recommend that council appoint the Director of Tourism, the Director of Community Services and Tourism, to be council's designated representative on the first board. I think it's really important, and so did the roundtable, that the person who knows what the tourism plans are now, what projects are planned, what's already in the budget, what the needs are, sit to represent council in that initial. Like to the committee, and if council chooses a different is there as a resource, because we think it's very important, and he's committed to do that. Then the specific amount is not set out in legislation, but the legislation does say a municipality can do that. Some municipalities, I did a number of research to see what other municipalities are doing. They retain a portion of the tax revenue to cover annual administrative enforcement expenses, meaning a flat fee. They either charge a flat fee or they charge a percentage fee. It is common practice to do one or the other, and I tried to do, of those municipalities I could find online that had administrative fees, I think there was about 20. The average fee collected was between 1.8% and 5%. We have in our previous public consultation sessions always stated that we would collect administrative fee, and we said it would likely be about 5%, but I am recommending to council that for at least the start of this agreement for the next 3 years, that we look at recovering 2.5%. That 2.5% is half what we originally anticipated as staff. We would be recommending to council to collect, but this is a way to hopefully show the community that we're only taking a small portion back on the administration side, recognizing, because we've heard from the owners, they get nothing to collect them at, and that it might not be fair that council collect a portion, but I can say to council, our job in collecting that money, trying to collect the money, whether it be through enforcement or reminders, accounting for that money in our reserves, taking it out and sharing it, and the list goes on. There is a great deal of administrative work on staff's behalf to look after and administer this. But recognizing the operators don't get any compensation, looking at the averages with others, 0.5%, and I give council a little background in the report on that. Basically would cover roughly 2 days per month of staff time through a year to from municipal council. What is council going to do with its share of the funds? We have our share of the funds in a reserve sitting there, and essentially council will make decisions about those funds, as it does with all its funds, through the operating and capital budget process. Staff will make recommendations, or council will make recommendations that should be funded any. But I said that law that would set out what it intends to do in a general way, but this council is going to spend that 50% on the MAP revenues on tourism or tourism-related projects, not that the money's being looked at as revenue coming in that might offset some operating expense or cover what we're already doing in tourism. They don't want to see this money replacing what we're already funding. So I think it would be prudent for council to consider a policy. Unfortunately, we don't have that for you tonight, but I make a commitment to council and just wanted to do a little more research. I will bring that forward to council on November 18th with, of course, and I say I will, it's Alex, I will, or Alex will. We'll bring forward directs, we'll share with the community for further input. So the message with that I want to share tonight is I do believe that council should publicly declare through a policy what its general intentions are with that MAT funding, albeit there will be a statement that all decisions of council are subject to budget negotiations, and that's where the real decisions are made. I think that basically I've hit for council on the key points that I wanted to of the agreement, so council fully understands. And then that there is in conclusion, a process that we've tried to be transparent. We've tried to ensure we had public engagement and input. And this is essentially, though, an agreement between the municipality of Wawa and Superior East Community Futures. And council is ultimately responsible to ensure that the money is spent in accountable fashion and follows the regulation. So this is something that council has to consider and approve with keeping the best interest of the whole community in mind. So thank you. I've attached for you there is 2 weeks for still input into the agreement, and we'll bring it back to council on November 18th. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Maureen. Councillor Hoffman.
I'll be out there. Yes, I would like to see the money directed toward tourism, because if the tourism stockpile for future.
The money can be kept in a dedicated fund, meaning on the side. The same, they don't have to spend all the money and
Part of the regulation that states that money has to be spent could decide to put that in a reserve and spend
our portion, that we don't have to spend it, but like we could sit there and say, okay, we wanna develop a boardwalk along Wawa Lake. It's gonna cost $300,000, but we don't have that money, and we won't have it from 1 year's share. So you sit it and keep it and say, okay, next year with that money, then in 2 years we can do this project.
absolutely.
Okay.
Councillor Hoffman, can I ask a follow-up question? Do you have any thoughts and opinions about the attached agreement?
I think it's good.
Thank you. Councillor O'Pata?
One of the questions I got is the committee that you're setting up, how many motels are there?
I believe there's 15.
There's 2.
Pardon me?
He's
Oh,
asking
I
about-
thought you meant how many in town.
No, no,
Excuse me.
Oh, that's what I thought, like, I'm just surprised that you're setting up a committee with only 2 people. Do you think more of them would want to be involved?
Oh, I'm
Has this
sure.
been brought to their attention that this is how what we're thinking of doing and stuff?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. To Councillor Opato, we had discussions with Ray Valiant, the outdoorsman, and we discussed the committee composition, and he shared that, you know, he'd bring this back to the motels. We haven't heard anything back, so our assumption right now is he agrees, but as the wording is set out in what I've shared with council, the municipality is working with Superior East, and we've developed this committee with all input that council is saying through this agreement, that's the minimum. We're not saying there can't be more representation from the motels. We're not saying it only has to be 5 members. But what we're saying in this agreement with Superior East, that's our, as a municipality, as a council, that's the minimum we want to see. So when the committee is formed with Superior East, they will develop the committee that they see fit to do. But having said that, you know, it depends on a lot of point of views. But I would say there's 30 short-term accommodations, there's 15 motels. I don't know how many tourism businesses, but I'm sure they're in excess of 30. So, you know, how the committee is made up is not being recommended as you get a percentage because you're that large. This was based on those people who gave us input into what they'd like to see as a minimum of the committee. Thank you.
And if I could add to that, when I read it, it really made sense to me that the brick and mortar accommodations were more heavily weighted. So they had 2. Short-term accommodations had 1. And then, but because it's a community mat tax, the committee was rounded off by other community members. And then having a municipal representative made by Alex really rounded off the committee in a really good way. Alex, you have additional comments to
Yeah, I
add?
just have one thing to add for Councillor Opato, that we had originally considered a committee of 7, and when we discussed between ourselves, SCFDC, and then essentially Sandra and Ray, there was some concern that too big of a committee gets pretty unwieldy. So we did talk about committees of even 9 or 11, but there was a lot of concern that that was too much. So when this was written, the minimum of 5, you know, just like we have a council of 5, right? Like Maury says, can always be added to, but we would certainly not want to set the committee up for failure, right? So I believe that that's a good starting point, and the way that we described it when we were talking today is this is a foundation that then the committee needs to steer itself at what it does with its funds. So the committee can build itself up from there and pull in different members as it sees fit. This, and especially the 3-year term, is really just trying to get this off on the best foot possible, so that those people who sit on that committee can take it from there and go with it.
I kind of like the idea that you can be an advisor and not sit on the committee, which would be a neat way for people to go to, new ideas coming in. And we're not voting on anything tonight, or? Oh, okay.
Councillor Cannon?
I agree with your option 1. I would like to see this agreement go through. I agree with having Alex sit on the board as the representative, other than a council member, or at least to start the group off. I mean, I think everybody could benefit from each other, and I think the best one to put on at the beginning would be you, Alex. And I don't mind the flat fee of 2.5. There has to be some administration fees for the work that the township's doing.
Councillor Hatfield?
I have lots to say. I'm really disappointed the way the township handled the motel owners. I'm very disappointed in how they did everything. And I don't care if anybody disagrees with me, but you went ahead and you put a policy together, like you told Ray. Ray's gone. He never told any of the motels what's going on. There is no communication with all the motels. You had 1 meeting with them a little while ago. You had 3 2 years ago. The township has not done a good job at all on this. I'm so disappointed. I talked to all the motel owners. They are just fed up. I'm surprised that they're not gonna walk out on this. I'm sorry, but I think you did a terrible job.
Do you have a question?
No, I don't think so, because I just might get a little upset.
Thank you very much, Councillor Hatfield. So I agree, I'm absolutely aligned with Councillor Cannon. I think the recommendation for the 2.5 administration fee, I think is good. I think appointing Alex to a member of the board, at least for the initial 3-year term, I think is really well thought out. My rationale behind that is it provides continuity for the beginning, particularly since we're in an election year. And we really, by the time this is going, we really only have 9 months for a council member to sit on this. So I think that by the time somebody finds their feet on this board, they could be in a position to be leaving. So I think that provides continuity, much needed continuity to a new board. So I am supportive of option number 1, that we would approve the attached agreement, and I really want to thank Superior East Community Futures Development Corporation for supporting local business. And I want to thank, both you and Alex for doing the good work that you did, and bringing in subject matter experts like Tayo, who really did say, not everybody is happy. And I think, it's very clear about this, and Councillor Hatfield, she clearly stated, not everybody's happy. But this process has been going on throughout Ontario, and I think we still did a good job. Tayo explained at the public engagement session that we weren't the only community that kind of went up and down through this. These kinds of arrangements are hard, and it's hard work. And hard work isn't easy. And you can't get everything right all the time. If we were all perfect, if this work was easy, everybody would do it. But everybody doesn't do it. We're the ones in the room doing the hard work, and for that, I thank you. We're gonna get there. This is gonna be a project that's gonna make our community better. This is something that our municipality has been working on for 6 years, and our council and our staff and our business owners came together to make it happen. And that is something that we can all be proud of. So I think on November 18th, I'm looking forward to passing this. I know that I've built better relationships because of this and learned many lessons. And I think if we can't be optimists, if we can't have an optimistic view of the future, then where are we going to be? So I'm super excited about passing this on the 18th, and looking forward to what we can build in collaboration with our business community. So,
One more question?
yes, absolutely.
Just if what Councillor Hatfield says is true, then is there an alternate for the hotel people that we can talk to, or can, instead of Ray? If he's,
Well, I'm more than willing to speak, not to pick on him, but the member in the audience, I'm happy, Alex and I, to speak. We were told by Ray that he represented the motels. That's how we've been acted, and I think we were reminded that a few times when I suggested in some meetings, should we have more public consultation? Should I have more meetings? We were interpreting what we were told, that Ray was selected by the motels to represent them, and so we were to deal with him. Now, it is unfortunate, I was curious, so council knows why I hadn't heard back, And so Alex went out of his way after hours to go and stop at the motel. We have a great relationship. So he stopped and we just found out today he's on vacation. I couldn't tell you when he's coming back, but I'm happy to converse with any member of the motels that want to come and speak with me or Alex, and happy to share the draft. As I stated during my presentation, it is a draft agreement. We have 2 weeks before we bring this to council for final approval, which again, can be extended if something arises. There's lots, I think, of opportunities. So to Councillor Hoffman's request, I just wouldn't know who to go to as an alternate.
So I think we can certainly find that out. We've got 2 weeks or less than, we have 14 days to speak, and that has always been the line of communication that the municipality was given, but we have 14 days to investigate that, and to ensure that everybody has proper information. And with regards to any project and any engagement, this and others, the municipality has always had an open door policy, and businesses are always welcome to come and get information. So communication is a two-way street. So I encourage anybody to always come and reach out to myself, Maureen, Alex. That has always been, our policy. So I think if there's no other questions or comments, we will move on, and I look forward to revisiting this issue on the 18th. It looks like the majority of the council is looking forward to approving this. We'll move on to item 5.6, CAO memo, Wawa Goose Club, new location.
Thank you, Mayor, and to Mayor and Council. I'm really happy to be able to share a memo, and we have representatives from the Wawa Seniors Goose Club here to also share that they were given notice, as council knows, by the landowner, and their agreement will be terminated for the space they're currently located in. The agreement does end on December 31st, but the landowner said he is more than agreeable and willing to provide 2 months additional time for the Goose Club to relocate to a new location. The owner is not interested in any continuing lease after that. We have worked with the Seniors Center and met recently with the executive and a member of the, I forget the Ministry of Seniors and Accessibility, Patricia Lofstrom, is that what it is? Okay, sorry, I was gonna call her name. And we had a very, very good meeting at the Seniors Club on Friday, but this does follow an effort since we first learned of the terminated lease by members of the club to go basically door to door down Broadway Avenue to look at all alternatives for leasing a space. The club spent considerable time trying to find a location that would serve their members, which does include making sure there's accessibility. Accessibility is a very important thing. Has a space for a large meeting event, has a kitchen, so meals and fundraisers can occur. So we had a meeting and it was reported back that there really is a shortage of space available to meet their needs. And they had a conversation with a local landowner who said they're willing to build new. At the space where the subway is located, they will build a new senior center to the specifications that we will put forth, which, there's already commitment, of course, there'd be a brand new washroom that'd be accessible, and the kitchen and those things. So we're pleased, I think, as in partnership with the Seniors Center, to put forward this request for a resolution on tonight's regular meeting that council indicated its intention to enter into a lease agreement for this space on behalf of the Senior Center with this landowner. It's not a request tonight to enter into the exact lease agreement, but this landowner is going to put considerable monies forward to start construction and is waiting to hear whether it's council or myself indicating that council intends to lease this space so construction can begin immediately. The landowner does commit to the municipality to have the space ready for the end of February. We were asking council tonight with a resolution just indicating that council does intend to rent the space. We have worked with the Ministry of Seniors and Accessibility representative, and the ministry essentially said it's time for the senior center to finally put forward an application that would maximize its funding. So we all like to save money, and the message was we're only applying annually in the past for about $30,000, but there is available up to $53,000. So there is money, and we had a great conversation in terms of us applying for the grant. There is monies to cover the increase in rent. But as with most municipal grants, there is a 80-20 split. So any costs that are incurred, 20% must come from the municipality, or revenue coming from other sources through the municipality. Because ultimately, the agreement with the ministry is with the municipality, it's not with the Seniors Goose Club. And the lease agreement is with the municipality and the landlord, because we are the ones that apply for the grant. That 20% for council's information, we are preparing the 2026-27 budget request, and we will share that when we're ready at a future meeting to come. But that 20% can be in kind, so based on the past, there has been basically staff time put in, and other ways that we contribute where that 20% has been in kind, so it hasn't been a cash contribution. This year with the increase in rent, we think we can have the municipality contribute that 20% with the Seniors Club volunteers as well, putting their time in. We're confident that that 20% can be in kind, but we may have to come to council with the revised budget and more clarity around that at a future meeting as this is being developed. But in conclusion, there is a shortage of space. There are ministry requirements as well. It can't be in a home. The volunteers at the senior center did look at a lot of other possibilities. And we think this is the best situation for the long term. And so we thank council for considering this, and a resolution will be on the regular meeting. And Mayor, I think there's a letter that the Goose Club sent you that you might want to read, although it was sent this evening, it's not on the agenda.
Absolutely. So Norma Koch, the secretary of the Wawa Goose Club, did email a letter today and asked me to read. Absolutely, I would love to read it on her behalf. It's dated November 4th, 2025. Dear Mayor Pilon, Councillors Cannon, Hoffman, Hatfield, Opato, and CAO Maury O'Neill. The Wawa Goose Seniors Center recently received a shock when our 30-plus year lease at our current location was terminated, and we had to find a new location to move into by February 28th, 2026. Suitable properties are not easy to come by in a small community, especially one that is accessible to seniors with very varied disabilities and can be welcoming to our two groups of 40 to 60 people at a time. In collaboration with the Government of Ontario, via the Ministry of Seniors and Accessibility and the Municipality of Wawa, we now look forward to new and exciting opportunities at 179 Mission Road. We thank you for all your continued efforts to make Wawa a truly age-friendly community. Yours sincerely, Norma Koch, Secretary, Wawa Goose Senior Center. Thank you very much, Norma. I will now open it up to council for questions or comments. Councillor Hoffman?
Am I allowed to mention the owner's name?
You're allowed to do whatever. Well, I'm not gonna say whatever you want.
No, I don't know if he approached the seniors club or us, or if we approached him, but I wanna thank him for what he's doing, like, this is fantastic, it's great.
I think it's also great as well. Councillor Pato?
It's neat to see that we can apply for more money and grants to offset this all. Hopefully that goes through. That means a lot also.
Councillor Cannon?
I'm so excited that somebody in this community stepped up to actually do the work he's going to do at no cost. That's him investing in his own community also. So I'm so glad that you found a place. I look forward to seeing the new place when it's done.
Councillor Hatfield?
The only thing I worry about is the new budget came out today and there was lots of cuts, and I just hope they don't cut that funding.
I'm also very excited, and I'm looking forward to this new chapter. It's going to be a new, beautiful space, and I understand that Patricia made a road trip to meet with the Goose Club, and Patricia has always been a wonderful supporter of not only Wawa but the Superior East region. She's been a great resource to our community, and I can't wait to have a tour, and I hear there's baking. So maybe I'm missing out, baking, maybe a game of crib. So I look forward to seeing it. I obviously support it wholeheartedly. I know that the Wawa Goose, I think that this will be able to accommodate additional people and, all be all on one level and maybe be a little bit warmer. So I think you have council's unanimous support for this. So thank you very much. Norma, Judy, did you want to say anything?
No, we just wanted to give our support and to be here and to thank you personally for all of this. I know that the township has supported the seniors and through applying for this grant over the years, and we're very grateful.
Well, thank you very much. We will do what we can to continue to support the club, and the seniors are a huge part of our community, and we thank you. And with that said, we will move on to item number 6, next meeting date, 6.1, Tuesday, November 18th, 2025. And we will move to adjourn, 7.1, closive meeting. May I have somebody make a motion? Councillor Cannon, seconded by Councillor Hoffman. All in favor? Carried. We will now move on to our regular council meeting. Everybody is more than welcome to take this opportunity to sneak out, or you can stay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I got a life sentence
Night,
until you
Kevin.
buy me up.
Good night.
Okay, so we'll just,
Things are changing.
okay, so we're just gonna call this meeting to order.
Sounds good. Take care.
I note the members present at 8:04 PM. Disclosure of pecuniary interest? Hearing and seeing none, we'll move on to approval of the agenda. 3.1, approval of the agenda.
Okay. Oh, I have to move, sorry. Are you? Just getting ready to. Apologies. Moved by Councillor Hatfield, second by Councillor Pato, resolved that the agenda for the regular meeting of council scheduled for Tuesday, November 4th be approved as presented.
All in favor? Carried. Item number 4, announcements and giving of notice. There are multiple announcements on the agenda. I encourage everybody to take a look. Are there any announcements from any councillors this evening? Seeing none, I will move on to item number 5, adoption of minutes.
Moved by Councillor Pato, second by Councillor Hatfield, resolved that the following minutes of the meetings of council be adopted as presented. Minutes of a regular meeting of council held on Tuesday, October 21st, 2025 as as contained on, this is the recording, we're still on YouTube, excuse me.
Yeah, let me just.
I can continue. I will start over, excuse me. Resolved that the following minutes of the meetings of council be adopted as presented. Minutes of a regular meeting of council held on Tuesday, October 21st, 2025, as contained on pages 1 to 6, inclusive of the minute book. Minutes of the special meeting of council held on Monday, October 26th, 2025, as contained on pages 1 to 2, inclusive of the minute book. And minutes of the special meeting of council held on Monday, October 27th, as contained on pages 1 to 2, inclusive of the minute book.
All in favor? Carried. Item number 6, correspondence. There is 14 items of correspondence, heavy correspondence meeting. Maury, as always, can I get you to highlight any item of correspondence that is particularly important?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. A number of these resolutions are resolutions from other municipalities supporting certain issues happening within the government that have been brought to council before, whether it be aerial spraying or blue box changes, so they are more informational. But what I would point out for council's attention is item 6.10, that is the letter from the Mitch-Forgotten Rod and Gun Club, shared with council as a copy, not addressed to council, that is highlighting their objection to the proposed location of the Highway 17 MTO rest stop. So they're not asking council to take any action in the letter. It is informational for council. They object to the proposed site on Highway 17 that is in close proximity to their current Rod and Gun Club shooting range, and they feel that it could be a potential safety hazard. And so please read that letter, at this time, it would be a matter of a letter being sent to the MTO, and I would say the committee waiting to hear if MTO has a response, of which we aren't aware of at this time. Some good news on the fact that both the federal and provincial government have removed HST and GST from new homes for new home buyers. That was resolution under 6.12 that a municipality put forward, but since they put it forward, it was changed. So that's some good news. We'll encourage first-time home buyers, I'm certain, to buy a home in the next while they can use a good reduction on taxes. There is a very large bill under 6.14. The Minister of Municipal Affairs and Housing wrote to council to advise them that there is Bill 17 to protect Ontario by building faster and smarter, and within that act, they refer to it as an omnibus bill. There's a number of proposed changes to a number of acts, with the ultimate goal of the province making it a red tape reduction, so that houses can get built faster. Staff is reviewing that legislation, and we will report to council. Those changes include making some small amendments to the Planning Act, so there would be, for example, less applications for minor variances, so council has to act as a committee of adjustment. So if someone wants to build a garage 2 feet closer to their lot line than permitted in our planning bylaws, this legislation saying if it's less than 10% change for variance, no more coming to council, you're approved as of right. So there's little changes to legislation, like updates to the building code that staff will review and report back to council. But I think it's important, Mayor, that council look at that legislation, bring forward any concerns that they might have to staff. So if there's future resolutions that council want to put forward regarding this bill, there is an open time and window for council to to review it, but staff's in the process of reviewing that as well. I think other than what's in the consent agenda, I think the only resolution I would note that council will be reading soon is that we will ask council to pass a resolution reducing any fees and charges that would go to anyone who wants to use our Wawa Transit during the Remembrance Day ceremonies. And of course, there will be a ceremony at the community center, of which Alex volunteers, because our facility is closed. But he's volunteering to keep it open and make sure that the ceremony can go ahead at the new cenotaph. So Mayor and Council, if you're available, the ceremony will start at 11 o'clock, followed by some events inside. So that's all I'll have to share at this time.
Perfect, thank you very much. Councillor Hoffman?
Regarding the Rod and Gun Club, did we get a mail in our box? But they're now the MTO or whatever, they're looking up at the Dubreuilville turnoff. And it looks like they're talking about building a center there now, so was that always in the plans? Oh, okay, so there's gonna be one here and one there.
And one in White River as well. There was always 3 in the plan.
Okay.
This is on, sorry, can I?
Yes.
Sorry, Mayor. This is on the same side as the Rod and Gun Club? I was under the impression that it was on the other side of the Rod and Gun Club.
On the other side of the highway.
It's always been on the same side as the Rod and Gun Club.
So there was a presentation and through public notices, they originally started looking at a number of sites, then they reduced it down to 5. The one beside the Rod and Gun Club was the one that they selected as the best option. One of the 5 was on the other side of the highway. But after their initial assessment and reviews, they obviously selected the other side. But for council's information, we weren't informed. We wouldn't have known that they picked that if we hadn't received the Rod and Gun Club memo. So we weren't involved in selecting, or council did, if you recall, when the initial 5 sites came to council. Council did just pass a resolution that it did not believe that the proposed sites on Pinewood Drive were suitable for a number of reasons that could have contributed to those sites not being chosen. So this site is on, and not directly beside, there's a bit of vacant land in between. I believe I attached a map.
Yeah.
It's on that same site.
Okay, yeah, because that's a whole lot different than what I thought, where it was gonna be on the other side that was proposed before. And I didn't know that they were proposing now the site right beside a Rod and Gun Club. Like, I can see why Rocky had some concerns.
If there are no other questions or comments, we will move on to item number 7, consent agenda. 7.1, approval of the consent agenda.
Moved by Councillor Hatfield, second by Councillor Pato, resolved that the item listed under the consent agenda, 7.2 and 7.3, be approved as recommended.
Any questions, comments? All in favor? Carried. Item number 8, staff report / memos. 8.1, receive staff report / memos.
Moved by Councillor Hatfield, second by Councillor Pato, resolved that council does hereby receive the following staff reports memos. AP memo, stop the spray signage. CAO report, request for lease at airport for proposed battery storage. HR memo, 2025 external audit services. CAO memo, Wawa Goose Seniors Club, new location. CAO report, municipal accommodation tax, third party entity.
Are there any questions, comments? All in favor? Carried. There are no items under business arising out of previous meeting, so we will move on to item number 10, new business. 10.1, approve, elect, respect pledge.
Sorry, Mayor, I just need 1 minute. I went through these. This thing here. Was that just expecting reports versus the resolution? Mixed up where that is, where this is. I will continue, thank you to Mayor and Council, I apologize. Resolution moved by Councillor Hoffman, seconded by Councillor Cannon, whereas democracy is healthy when everyone is able to participate fully and safely and contribute to the well-being of their community. And whereas we are witnessing the dissolution of democratic discourse and respectful debate across all levels of government and in neighboring jurisdictions, and whereas Ontario's municipally elected officials are dealing with increasingly hostile, unsafe work environments facing threats and harassment, and whereas social media platforms have exacerbated disrespectful dialogue, negative commentary, and toxic engagement, which disincentivizes individuals, especially women and candidates from diverse backgrounds from running for office, and whereas better decisions are made when democracy is respectful and constructive, and the voices of diverse genders, identities, ethnicities, races, sexual orientation, ages, and abilities are heard and represented around municipal council tables, and whereas the Association of Municipalities, Ontario's Healthy Democracy Project, has identified concerning trends with fewer people voting in local elections and running for municipal office, and whereas in 2024, female elected representatives from across Halton formed a group called HER, Halton Elected Representatives, which pledged to speak out against harassment and negativity in politics and call on elected officials to uphold the highest standards of conduct. And whereas HER has launched a campaign called Elect Respect to promote the importance of healthy democracy and safe, inclusive, respectful work environments for all elected officials that encourages individuals to participate in political processes. And whereas on June 5th, the Canadian Association of Feminist Parliamentarians launched a nonpartisan parliamentary civility pledge to encourage all parliamentarians to commit to and end workplace harassment and increase civility on Parliament Hill, modeled after the pledge developed in Halton by representatives of HER. Now therefore be it resolved that Council of the Corporation of the Municipality of Wawa supports the Elect Respect pledge and commits to treat others with respect in all spaces, public, private, and online. Council commits to reject and call out harassment, abuse, and personal attacks. Council commits to focus debate on ideas and policies, not personal attacks. Council will help build a supportive culture where people of all backgrounds feel safe to run for and hold office. The Council will call on relevant authorities to ensure the protection of elected officials who face abuse or threats, and the Council will model integrity and respect by holding one another to the highest standards of conduct. And that this Council of the Municipality of Wawa calls on elected officials, organizations, and community members to support the Elect Respect campaign and sign the online pledge at www.electrespect.ca. And further, that a copy of this resolution be sent to the Association of Municipalities of Ontario, Premier Doug Ford, relevant MPs and MPPs, Phenomenoma, and the Superior East Mayors Group, and posted on the municipal website.
All in favor? Questions, comments? Carried. 10.2 Legion Remembrance Day bus request.
Moved by Councillor Cannon, seconded by Councillor Hoffman, resolved that Council of the Corporation of the Municipality of Wawa does hereby authorize the Royal Canadian Legion for the use of the Wawa Transit Vehicle on Tuesday, November 11th, 2025, to provide transportation services for veterans to attend the Remembrance Day ceremonies, and furthermore, that the Municipality of Wawa shall assume all costs associated with the charter service.
Questions?
No.
All in favor? Carried. 10.3 approves staff recommendation that I apologize, we will table based on our previous discussion. Item 10.3, approve staff recommendation that the Corporation of Municipality of Wawa support the Stop the Spray campaign.
10.5. And 10.5.
And 10.5. So we will move on to 10.4, direct staff to prepare a report on Wawa drag races.
Moved by Councillor Cannon, seconded by Councillor Hoffman, whereas community members of the municipality of Wawa have expressed interest to Mayor and Council about the return of the drag racing to Wawa, and whereas Council wishes to investigate the potential return of a drag racing event to Wawa, now therefore be resolved that the Council of the Corporation of the municipality of Wawa directs staff to prepare an informational report regarding the economic benefits, community risk, and potential for the return of an airport drag race to the community for Council's future consideration.
Questions? All in favor? Carried. There are no items listed under item 11. Item number 12, 12.1, first, second, and third reading.
Yes, Mayor, I'm sorry. I noted an error in the agenda, and I would look to your direction. We have a resolution that sets out that the council would enter or indicate its intent to enter an agreement with the owner of the Mission Road property for the purposes of a senior center. I have the resolution, but unfortunately an error was made and it wasn't included in the agenda. So I would ask you and council to consider adding it as 10.6. So it would be just a verbal resolution that council agrees to add the item as 10.6, and then we could add it to the agenda.
Absolutely, we can add that as a friendly amendment. I think we would need a resolution to add that, I believe.
Yes.
So Councillor Hoffman, did I see your, can I have him make a motion to approve? Councillor Hoffman, seconded by Councillor Cannon. All in favor to add that as a friendly amendment? Carried, and then I will add 10.6, the Wawa Goose Senior Center.
Thank you. Moved by Councillor Cannon, seconded by Councillor Hoffman. Whereas Council of the Corporation of Municipality of Wawa considers it desirable and in the public interest to enter into a lease agreement with Mr. John Stankovic for the use of the premises located at 179 Mission Road for the purpose of establishing and operating a Wawa Goose Senior Center, a community facility intended to provide programming and services to seniors and older adults in the community. Whereas the property is suitable for municipal and community use and has been identified as an appropriate location for the Seniors Goose Center following site evaluation and discussion with many community partners. Whereas council deems it expedient to authorize the CO clerk to execute a lease agreement with Mr. Stankovic under the terms and conditions negotiated by the municipality administration. Now therefore, the Council of the Corporation of Municipality of Wawa enacts as follows, that the municipality of Wawa be and is hereby authorized to enter into a lease agreement with Mr. John Stankovic for the property known municipally as 179 Mission Road for the purpose of establishing and operating the Seniors Goose Center. Number two, that the term of the lease, rental amount, renewal options, and other conditions shall be as set out in the lease agreement, which will form a future bylaw, and that the mayor and council are hereby authorized to execute that mayor and the clerk are hereby authorized to execute a lease agreement and any other related documents on behalf of the municipality of Wawa.
Questions, comments? All in favor? Carried. Wonderful, thank you very much for making that note and bringing our attention back to that matter. Item number 12, bylaws, 12.1, first, second, and third reading.
Moved by Councillor Cannon, seconded by Councillor Hoffman, resolved that the following bylaws be introduced and read the first, second, and third time, and finally passed, and that the mayor and clerk do sign and seal the same. Any rule of this council to the contrary notwithstanding. Bylaw number 382725 to confirm the proceedings of council at its meeting held on the 4th day of November 2025, and bylaw number 3828-25, a bylaw to approve the 2025 asset management plan.
Questions? All in favor? Carried. Item number 13, closed session, 13.1, moving into closed session.
Moved by Councillor Hoffman, second by Councillor Cannon, resolved that this committee proceed in camera at 8:25 p.m. in order to address the following matters pertaining to two legal issues, and they relate to the proposed and pending acquisition or disposition of land by the municipality.
All in favor? Carried. I just need a few minutes.
Thank you very much, Danielle.
Night, Daniel.
Good night, everybody.
Item number 14, return to open session. 14.1, return to open session.
Moved by Councillor Cannon, seconded by Councillor Hoffman, resolved that council resume to the open meeting session at 8:54 PM.
All in favor? Carried. There's no items arising from closed session, so we will move on to item number 16, next meeting date, 16.1, Tuesday, November 18th, 2025. Item 17, adjournments. 17.1, close of meeting.
Moved by Councillor Hoffman, seconded by Councillor Cannon, resolved that the meeting closed at 8:53 PM.
All in favor? Carried. Thank you very much for